For a while now, Aaron Glenn has been the discussion of the conversation, Detroit Lions defensive coordinator. Should we move on from Aaron Glenn? Yesterday, I did a video talking about, is Dan Campbell going to be able to fire him? And I say no, right? Going into the halfway point of the 2023 season. Now, to be clear, he will not be fired this year. That is not going to happen. This is more of an early offseason thing. If a guy was to become available, should the Detroit Lions be interested? Now, shout out to my guy, Mr. Poole, and shout out to Mike Payton off Twitter for I saw his tweet, and I thought that would be very intriguing to talk about this because it's something you don't think about. Then you start thinking about the connection between not only the city of Detroit, the state of Michigan, but the Detroit Lions, and it really starts to make your brain spin a little bit. And what am I talking about here? The possibility of the Detroit Lions getting Robert Saleh in the offseason if he is indeed fired from the New York Jets. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, hey, Robert Saleh, with the way things are going in New York, not too good. He got hired the same time that Dan Campbell got hired here. As a matter of fact, if my memory serves me correctly, Robert Saleh turned down an interview to come to Detroit, or either he was interviewed in Detroit or something like that, and he took the job with the New York Jets, a bigger market. Well, isn't that kind of ironic how we could have a full circle moment for Robert Saleh if indeed he's fired by the New York Jets? Now, here's what I wanted to do. I want to take a look at the Detroit Lions defense versus the 49ers defense for the years of 2017 to 2020. That was the 4 years that Robert Saleh was defensive coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers. D'Amico Ryans, he was defensive coordinator from 2021 and 2022. He is now the head coach of the Houston Texans. So here is what the comparison between the 49ers defense from 2017 and the Lions versus Aaron Glenn right now. In 2017, the Lions defense was 21st in points per game, and the 49ers was 25th. In 2018, the Lions was 16th, and the 49ers was 28th. In 2019, here's where it began to flip a little bit. Now, of course, you're going to talk about injuries, and those play a part on both teams. In 2019, when they went to the actual Super Bowl, the 49ers were 8th, and the Lions were 26th. In 2020, the 49ers were 17th, and the Lions were 32nd. Now, you have personnel changes. You got the defensive guys that you bring in, Hufanga. You've got Fred Warner. You've got Nick Bosa. So they have begun to get some talent, some elite talent on their team, which is something that we don't have on the Detroit Lions defensive roster. We're building that. We're going in that direction with some of our key players, with the Brian Branches and stuff like that, but we're not there yet. Now, let's compare AG's time as defensive coordinator as for the Detroit Lions. Now, this to me is baffling. Year 2021, we were ranked 32nd. 32nd. We allowed in 2021 the most points in the National Football League. Our record was 3-12-1. In 2022, we were trending the worst defense of all time. Aaron Glenn's second year, we ranked 28th in points allowed. And again, we were the only top 10 offense that did not make the playoffs. In 2022, so far, the Detroit Lions are ranked 22nd on defense. So if you look at the early years, the Lions had a better defense than the San Francisco 49ers. But as the talent started to come, their ranking went up. So you could say that Aaron Glenn and his defense is getting better. 32nd with the talent that we had, 28th with the talent that we had in 2022, and now 22nd with the talent that we have in 2023 thus far. Now, we still got a long way to go. We have 6 games to go. Can they be higher? Can they be in the second tier of the league, or will they remain in the bottom tier? This being number 22nd literally puts them in the bottom third of the league. Now, we're excited about that, right? I use excited loosely because it's better than what we've had. Now, the question that I have for you is, if Robert Saleh was available, if he was to be fired by the New York Jets, would you be mad, or would you want the Detroit Lions to bring him in as defensive coordinator? I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say yes. Now, the thing about it is, again, he might have turned down the interview to come to Detroit. He's going to be a hot coaching candidate, defensive coordinator job somewhere else if he is to be fired. I think it's time for Aaron Glenn to have a change of scenery. Now, that would have to be where Dan Campbell fires Aaron Glenn. I don't think, and we talked about it yesterday, I don't think Dan Campbell has it in him. And if they're better, right now, we are 6 spots better than we ended last year. We're 4 spots. We are 10 spots better than we ended the year before, and we still have 6 games left, so we can end in 19-18. Is that a reason for you to fire Aaron Glenn? Right? So Dan Campbell has to make a decision. And I'm thinking about it now. And if the right people become available, do you jump on them? Is Robert Saleh the right person? Aaron Glenn has 3 years under his belt as far as the rapport that he's built with the Detroit Lions, but is that going to matter? Now, year 4 is going to be a big year if we retain Aaron Glenn as defensive coordinator. Here's what I got to say, right? And this is when I have to be, that I'm going to be critical. And I brought this up in the video the other day. We had less on our team. Our team was nothing in 2021, yet Anthony Lynn is given no time before he's demoted. He's given no time. I would say that our offense was worse than our defense as far as personnel, but yet he was given half a season, demoted. But you're not going to do that with Aaron Glenn. Last year, you fire Aubrey Pleasant and as a scapegoat for Aaron Glenn. That's what that was. But this year, so you keep it. It seems to me that Dan Campbell just can't do it. Everybody's always a heck of a coach. This guy was a heck of a coach. That guy was a heck of a coach. Heck of a coach. It might be time to move on from AG. So the question is, if Robert Saleh becomes available and he is fired by the New York Jets, would you want the Detroit Lions to bring him on as defensive coordinator? I think it'd be a perfect full circle moment. We've seen what he was able to do with that 49er defense and the right personnel. Again, we've seen what DeMeco Ryans is able to do. It's a little different over there in New York, man. Them New York franchises are something else. So for me, I think it might be time. I don't think it's going to happen. First, Saleh has to get fired. And second, I just don't think that he can move on. Dan Campbell cannot move on. And we're going to talk about this more in depth as the season go on. But just something, again, shout out to Mr. Poole and Mike Payton for even putting this idea in my head. But I was like, let me compare the two. 49ers, dominant defense. The thing about it is the Jets have all the pieces, but maybe they don't have, maybe their ownership is meddling, their quarterback play. So you see what happens when your offense can't move. And it's only a matter of time before the only reason, I'm going to be honest with you, the only reason we're not calling and we're not pitching a fit right now, and I think a lot of fans are missing this. A lot of fans are missing this. The only reason that we are not ripping Aaron Glenn apart is because our offense has been carrying the team. See, it's a little different when you got the Baltimore Ravens situation where your offense does just enough, but your defense carries the team. It's a whole lot different when your offense has to carry the team. We've seen it with the Chiefs. We've seen it with multiple other teams, right? It's a whole lot different. So I think that because the offense, so when the offense falters like they did yesterday, it makes the defense a subject. And that's when we start directing toward the defense. Now, you might say, well, Aaron Glenn allowed this many points, and it wasn't the defense that turned the ball over and all that stuff. All of that stuff is true. But At the same time, the defense let the Chargers score 5 consecutive touchdowns. Was it the defense that stopped Justin Fields, or was it the fact that he couldn't throw? He missed a wide open wide receiver. Was it the defense that stopped Jordan Love, or was it that his receivers dropped passes and he missed open throws as well? So a question, leave it in the comments below. Would you want Robert Saleh, if he became available, to be the new defensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions? I'm going to say absolutely positively. But again, we might not do that because, we're messing up the culture. We're disrupting the locker room. We'll see. You guys are awesome. Take care of yourself and each other. And as always, go Lions. It feels good to have a YouTube channel, man, because you can make as many videos as you want.